welcome back to the HGC. If you are just now joining us, we are watching as Team Expert and Synergy face off in this best-of-5 series. Currently, Expert is up 2-0, and they are back to their dominant ways.
Yes, they are, and they're choosing slight pocket picks here and there, which are shining through very, very well. Something like a Stitches, I think they may have anticipated similar lane setups to me, and it would have helped in that, but the lane setup from the beginning from Synergy was wacky, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, you need your wave clear. You need to be set up, especially in that top lane in particular. You cannot be in a spot where you can't wave clear and then, of course, fight over that shrine. So it was relatively difficult for them to do so. It seems like Expert, seeing all these hammers lately in Europe, we're like, okay, that's fine. Let's bring back Sergeant Hammer, or let's bring back the Stitches to deal with that Sergeant Hammer, and we'll see if that continues to shake out. Let's get ready for game number 3 here. Let's find out which battleground we are moving to between our two teams here in the best of 5 series. Now, we've already finished up on Dragonshire. We have already played on our other map as well. What is going to be our third map? What will it be? It's going to be Sky Temple.
All right, there's going to be a Vikings man. Undoubtedly.
It has to be.
Yeah.
They've ran it here, they've ran it Towers of Doom, and they've ran it Cursed Hollow. So, obviously, it's something that we want to see from Synergy. It's something that they're willing to show. In fact, it's the most picked hero that Hydra has actually picked in the HGC, which is so weird to say. So, if you don't ban him out, do you think Expert can handle it?
That is a good question. I think no. I think they have to ban it. They've shown tendencies in the previous 2 games. I mean, yes, they have been able to show us global presence in some of the past series that they've played, but as of late, things like Falstad, things like Dahaka haven't been as much of a focus point for a team like Expert. Even something like a Zeratul has really only been picked maybe once or twice on Nick. So they would have to implement those things into their game to deal with something like a Vikings, and I think that they just ban it. Don't think about that. It's fine.
Something to note, too, is if the Viking ban does come out, suddenly Hydra can play his Dahaka, which is something that he's played in the past and he plays very well at.
True.
I think one of the best ways to break Expert apart is to spread them out as much as you can. They're a team that just seems to be very strong when they are a unit as 5 in terms of they're getting their pickoffs, they know who to call their targets, and they move in on it. So if you get Dahaka, you get the ability to kind of break that apart a little bit more, especially with how strong he has been lately. Any other heroes that might stand out on this battleground? Maybe Chin, but that is more of a 3-lane slash. You need a top laner that can hold. Sky Temple requires teams to come closer together than you would normally see because of those tempo faces.
Yeah, I can't think of anything outside the norm right now. I think that still Nazebo Zul can have its day on here, nowhere near as strong as some of the smaller maps for sure. But we could definitely see a Nazebo still creeping his way in, because he's got to this point in Europe now where he's actually just a solid ranged assassin, even though he's a specialist, of course, but Gargantuan controls good space, Wall controls good space, and he becomes a monster at level 20. So that's my wildest pick. Hammer's still probably going to make it in. Not bad on this battleground.
Yeah, pretty solid. I wonder if Hammer would even work when we go to the Clash in a couple of weeks against teams like North America. They prioritize global so much more. Dahaka, Falstad, Brightwing picked up so often. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Can Hammer work against North America? I haven't watched too closely enough to be able to give you that answer. Sorry.
Right. Well, it's time for Sky Temple. Here we go. Ban phase will begin. We are expecting a Vikings ban from Expert. Let's see if they did their homework. Synergy on the other side here. Yep, there it is. Should be a Medivh ban. I just don't think you give it away. Even if they were up 2-0 right now.
Just get rid of it.
I still wouldn't give away Medivh.
So this now comes to the point where I feel Synergy has to make a Tassadar comp. I think that that's probably going to be one of the only ways that you try and beat Team Expert here. The only issue is that Team Expert has been good against Tassadar comps when they've come around from some of the lower teams in the league. So, and also Varian sets up quite nicely to say, okay, if you even did want to go for a Tassadar comp, technically we could go Shattering Throw down the line and then make your late game very, very difficult. But Ragnaros and Falstad being picked up for Synergy is a great little duo for their first 2 picks.
It is. I think Ragnaros fell slightly behind a little bit on this battleground. He has a decent poke around temple and such, but still they grab him. I wouldn't mind seeing Tassadar Falstad here. The problem is Expert suddenly can get Zarya, and they can ban out whatever they want on the second phase if the ball is too strong or any other mix-up.
Yeah, I would agree. Whilst Molten Core is nowhere near as strong against this map mechanic or battleground mechanic compared to other maps, it's still Sulfura Smash is in a position where it does so much damage from a followed up stun that it can never be ignored fully in the current meta with the way Sulfura Smash is. So, Team Expert, do they just go into Malfurion and something else? Malfurion Jaina, maybe? And just kind of go down the same route as game number 1? What do you think?
I can see that. I wouldn't mind Malfurion Zarya, because I think if Synergy doesn't see Zarya in this rotation, I think I would ban it.
Well, Expulsion Zone already is not a bad thing to say, okay, we kind of want to control. Zarya Hammer, all right.
Wow.
Ooh. That is a little play out of Synergy's book from game 1, but of course, you know, Team Expert has been well versed with this anyway. So I'm not surprised to see the Hammer. She has a lot of potency on this map.
Yeah, she's been growing a lot on this battleground, as you just mentioned. Every time you get that keep open up in the bottom lane, which she is so good at doing before level 13, especially if you're able to get a boss at any point, it becomes much harder for you to contest those temples. As long as you're up with the rotations, you are fine to go. So Hammer now picked up. Now you're banned here. If you ban Malfurion, well, actually, I think they would ban Rhaegar if they wanted to choke out supports. Ban Rhaegar and then pick up Malfurion, because they actually have a decent win rate with it. They have 42% compared to where Rhaegar is a little bit more untested for Synergy.
I feel like unless they want to go down Brightwing and then just go for the full like little global comp, I think Sevka might pick Karazim up here in this game.
Yeah.
It's been like his pocket healer to go to. Chromie ban. So we have seen Chromie from them. Neon has played it in the past.
This is more of just something with Neon, or with the Hammer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Against the Hammer, you don't really want to deal with that too much.
So yeah, I think I agree with you. The Malfurion being banned out, it feels like we're not going to see a Rhaegar from Synergy. They just don't gravitate towards it. It's so weird how one of the heroes that can be great at keeping your teammates alive, has Cleanse, has Totem, has these powerful heroics, just kind of gets ignored by them. So
yeah, so again, unless they want to go Brightwing for really massive global, I do think it'll be Karazim in one of these two choices, along with a warrior in this in the feeling of maybe an ETC for Power of Dream, Li Ming, and
Karazim. Okay. We've seen Li Ming a couple times for Synergy. Not as often here. You have to be careful playing around with Zarya with the shields, but you always have the moment to be able to go in for those resets, but it's mostly here, I think, because of the variant.
Right, yeah. Just making sure that they deny it. And also, you know where, if Varian charges and he taunts, you know he's going to be stood in that spot for a good while. So you can technically could do some good damage to it. But Synergy, right now, I would say, has an all-star lineup for damage dealing. Whether or not it comes together or not, we will see.
And there is something to say about a strategy where you have so much damage that Zarya shields become almost obsolete, as you put out so much damage that it just breaks through anyways, but you have to make that call, and you need lockdown. There is a lot of lockdown missing here for Synergy.
I think I want to see Palm for Synergy here, considering what we actually see. They have enough damage. Do not focus down the idea of a 7-sided strike here as Karazim. Just keep everyone healthy, keep them alive with a Palm. Team Expert goes into Taka Brightwing.
Oddly enough, one of the most standard comps that we've seen from Experts. Oddly enough.
Yeah.
Dahaka, great for the movement, keep up with that mobility. I think you just go ETC here at Synergy. You need lockdown because you have all the damage available. Power Slide will give that to you, knockback 2, your mosh pits.
It's funny how the tables have turned. Think about game number 1 and think about what we talked about in the break, right? Synergy had a triple warrior composition to protect a hammer. The one thing that we didn't really like too much was Artanis, right? What did we want instead of Artanis?
Dahaka, but the team banned it out.
Dahaka, exactly. This composition as a triple warrior means that Dahaka can not only have great soak along with Brightwing if she needs to be there, but also the fact that Dahaka has great kill potential with some of the damage coming out. Muradin is going to be the warrior choice.
I think I would have much liked ETC over Muradin. I see it. It's probably one of Power Dream's best engagers, so you can move in, but I think ETC would have been slightly better. Even with the interrupts available for the opposing team, still the threat of Mosh Pit makes the opponents back up. But back to your Dahaka point. Dahaka's great for triple warrior lineups because we saw in the first game, Brax's holdout, the team fall behind Synergy and they never got a chance to come back. Dahaka makes sure that you never fall behind. If you have waves coming your way, he can go deal with it, but he can also make a team fight. He's the answer if you want to run triple warrior.
Yeah. I mean, think about how long it actually took Artanis to deal with that top lane. It took, in game number 1, even in Brax's holdout, it took forever for him to actually try and clean up those waves and then get back into a fight. Dahaka can get both of those things done very quickly. He not only cleans up the wave, but he's back into the fight fast because he has Brush Stalker.
Yeah.
So
Dahaka's like, hey, I need 4 seconds, and then I'll be there. Artanis is, I need 2 minutes, and then I'll be there. And at that point, it's not even worth it. So yes, Dahaka, Zarya, and Varian will have hard engage. We'll have shields here. We'll have Dahaka rotations. We'll have map control. We have Brightwing there to help out with that too, in case there needs to be more assistance. All you need to do is make sure that your Sergeant Hammer is safe. Brightwing can do just that. There isn't much dive for synergy here. They have their Muradin into Stormbolt, into Sophia Smash. So they do have combos available. It's just all about actually connecting them. Again, the only hero I don't like for synergy here is the Muradin. I would have rather had ETC heavily to have this matchup actually work out for them. But still, Muradin makes sense.
I'm 50-50 on it. Because ETC, technically speaking, as a warrior, compared to Muradin, doesn't quite have the front face sustain.
Not as tanky, yeah.
So I think that they're trying to say, we're a solo warrior with a very strong backline. We just need our warrior to stay alive for a little bit longer maybe than an ETC would, and then we can get the big damage off. But yeah, there's pros and cons to both sides.
Trade-offs.
Yeah.
Well, let's see how it will work out here. Game number 3, we are going to Sky Temple. Synergy facing off against Team Expert. Expert looking for the win.
All right, to the left-hand side. In the blue, looking to bring it back, it is Sevka going to be playing the Karazim. Power of Dream on Muradin, Neon on Falstad. Next up is Sir Ice Cream, I haven't said that yet, on Li Ming. And then finally, Hydra playing the Ragnaros for Team Synergy.
To the far right, Expert is set up as the red team. Curson will be on Brightwing. Bad Benny playing Varian, and he has started to favor that hero often lately. ADRD on Zarya, he seems to love his shields. Blade on Dahaka, and last but not least, Nick on Sergeant Hammer.
Now, the one argument you can make for 7-sided strike is that you know your opponent's front line is very tanky, so technically, yes, you're going to get really good value off of those 7% strikes or whatever they are for the 7-sided, but still, I would like Palm better. Still, I think that it should be the way, because if you lose any of your damage dealers at the back, all of these warriors are going to sustain through you anyway. But this is a good little attack onto Bad Benny. I think he's out, though. Yep.
Punishing Varian before he gets good at level 4 with that Warbringer. Bringing out some damage.
Before he hashtag gets good.
Yes. That's where he turns it up.
Varian 1-3, you're rubbish, mate.
Ragnaros in the middle lane has soaked up a little experience from that engagement that's been occurring. Falstad and Dahaka on the top lane. So now we have our normal setup here when you have a Sergeant Hammer. Usually 3 will be in the lane with her to help her out with her range and keeping her alive. Curson, bring out the polymorph power, being aggressive. Going for the engage once again. Stormbolt will be up. He does connect it. Zarya's shield pops out. And Nick with the big 4-man knockback.
Boop. Big boop. So what's going on towards the top as well? It's just Falstad versus Dahaka up there. Varian soaking towards mid. This fight will go on forever. There's not much that will happen. And then they're just looking for opportunities for Sergeant Hammer to get on towards things. So now at level 1, we see so much variance from player to player. Advanced artillery for Nick, so he will be doing extra damage on long-distance enemies by 10%, which is always nice if you get graduating range down the line. But mostly Team Expert has been going for the full auto attack. Because then, you know, obviously it's easier to get this to proc later on at level 20 when you do have Nexus Frenzy.
And harder for your opponents to stun you. This power keeps going for it here. Stormbolt in, jumping on Nick, but Sevka just taking so much damage there, forced to retreat. We'll be able to heal up. Power now, bopping out. I think you can go graduating range though. Against Muradin. Sulfurious Smash, while scary, can be shielded. Muradin telegraphs heavily that he's coming in for your engage. If you already have the graduating set up, you should have a couple attacks already. And for supports on point, you can also hit a polymorph and then burn him down. So could see graduating range later on.
He's not a fast engager unless he burns his Dwarf Toss into you, right? So, and then that leaves him kind of vulnerable and exposed.
Especially against Li Ming, Falstad, very squishy targets. When Muradin's diving at you, you actually don't have to focus on Muradin. You just watch the back line. If you have that graduating range, Muradin gets on the back and you hit him with that artillery, and suddenly you are destroying a back line before they even get there. Drag hitting on Muradin. Power will jump away. Sevka will be here for the heals. Temple phase now available.
And they've done a good job here of synergy of controlling a little bit of the top one, a little bit of the mid one, but it looks like Ragnaros is going to fall. Hydra is the first blood, and that is going to even be a second one if they're not careful. He jumps to try and help this out. Power of Dream goes down. That's a full level lead here, and they take down bottom 4. Oh, they left the Hammer alone.
How are they getting everything here? Hammer and Zarya in the bottom getting the fort. Li Ming had to back because she was low on health. And then we saw Team Expert go for the aggressive play in the middle lane, picking up a few members. They got serious temple control there and a fort already here in the early game.
Yes. All right. So overall, that's a bit of an interesting spot to be in. It feels almost as bad as leaving a current Murky live patch alone, which, let's be honest, that would have got a keep in that time because that's how Murky rocks now.
He's got it good.
I'm just hating on Murky.
You're just hating on Murky, man.
Damn you, Murky.
This guy just comes in every morning and he's like, I played Murky yesterday. I'm having a bad day. And I'm like,
I do.
Claire, it's going to be all right. You can't be tilted for 12 hours
Every day.
over a video game.
I'm like, damn Murky. Every morning. And then we're like, maybe it'll...
And the problem, the great thing too, is like he simmers down a little bit. Let's get ready to go back in the game here. He simmers down after talking about Murky, and then Dread comes in, and Kalaris is like, Dread, I gotta tell you something. I faced Murky yesterday, and then Dread's like, oh, you faced Murky? I hate that guy.
When me and Dread get going about Murky, especially today,
and I'm over here like, I used to be a Murky main. Calm down, guys. It's gonna be all right.
It's kind of like, you know, when somebody comes in and talks about something that you're very heavily invested in, and they're just like bad-mouthing it or whatever, and you just sat there like, what am I supposed to do?
What am I supposed to do, man?
That's how that situation is, but we don't care. We are sorry. We're not sorry. We're not sorry.
I don't think he should be, man. He's kind of good, man. We'll see what will happen with him. Remember, you will possibly see Murky at Katowice. Oh, man, we haven't seen him since BlizzCon. Bad Benny, though, in the middle, getting focused down. Kirsten comes in for the face shift, but shows up a little too late there. Can't keep his teammate alive. Will be able to pixie dust away from the fight. Dahaka, meanwhile, is sitting in the bottom lane pushing, as well as Sergeant Hammer and Zarya in the top.
Good kill. So, okay, this is very important to know. So, this is a rotation that is powerful, whilst we have this small engage, but Ice Cream, Mr. Ice Cream is going to have to go away. Why is Nick and ADRD pushing the extreme lanes? It's because they are safer. They push down the bottom one to the bottom, not only to make the second temple phase very advantageous for them, but then they go up to the top lane so that it's less likely that they will get rotated on towards, and it's more telegraphed if they get rotated on towards. So that's why they're focusing on the extreme lanes compared to the middle one here to find good value.
And it gets compounded because of Dahaka. He can push the lane, and he's safe by himself. The answer is always Dahaka. What do I need here to make this comp work? Dahaka.
Yeah, it's creating multiple threats to then force your opponents to make reactions, which require more than the heroes that you are submitting to that lane. It's very strong.
Very powerful. There was a 3-man gank in the bottom, which allowed ADRD and Sergeant Hammer to grab that mercenary camp in the top right. Temple's activating in the next 6 seconds. Bad Benny will lead the charge straight down the temple. They are already nice and set up, especially with Hammer being down here. Great spot for Expert to be in. Synergy has two choices. They just soak all the lanes because they are severely behind, or they go for a hard engaged play, which is difficult against Nick, but they might be able to get Bad Benny. Bad Benny, though, with the aid of Nick, put Hydra down to half damage.
Attack from Hydra, and looking to blow up Varian themselves here, and they might kill him off. He is very low, but Hydra's going to die on the other side as well here. Nick trying to get another auto attack. Trade for trade, 1 for 1. Ragnaros falls whilst Varian falls. Second goes down. Oh my God, he exploded.
That was some damage there. A combination of Sepho bringing in 3 auto attacks, the Iron Fist helping out, and then, of course, Li Ming with the Orb. 2 takedowns. Synergy making a big play. Still behind 10-9, but with no Sergeant Hammer, no Varian, there's no engage and no major damage. So Expert, although they have a heroic advantage, have to play safe.
Did something happen in another world? How is Blunt Force Gun all of a sudden working into all of these games? I mean, yes, it follows up Varian stun. I guess it does do more napalm, the damage than napalm, and someone stood in it. So yeah, I suppose so. This is wild.
The answer is always orbital. Level 20.
Yeah,
guaranteed win if you're in quick match.
Yeah, I guess if we go there, yeah, you just put it in between the 3 keeps. That is very difficult. You put it in between any buildings and you're like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
The answer is nothing. You have to come kill us, and I'm Sergeant Hammer. I'll siege up and just kill you.
Yeah.
Well, Expert now with the BFG. We'll see how that unfolds. The Synergy finally hits 10 themselves. Wave of 4s, Disintegrate, Sulfura Smash, 7-sided Strike, and Avatar.
Yeah, amazing. BFG. Okay, so let's see how Synergy is going to play this out. So one thing that is the Zarya pickup, aside from shielding Hammer constantly, is the fact that Expulsion Zone is going to give them a bit of control aside from the Gust on the other side for Synergy. So at least they have some way to try and start contesting this boss that one flare means, though, that ADRD is going to have to be very careful about his positioning. Seven-sided strike comes in on towards Grab Benny. He gets out of there, and they're going to end up dying off if they're not careful here. That's a lot of damage coming out from BFG, also hitting Sevka and Power of Doom. They're going to have to back on out. Likewise, so a Team Expert. Trade for trade.
And Dahaka just saves top lane. The call was made from Expert. Okay, we got this. We put Explosion down. That allowed Hammer to focus down targets. If she got a kill, great. If not, no big deal. Blade already destroying the top lane, getting it down low on health. It was imperative that Expert didn't lose a member there. Had that happen, suddenly a boss could have been taken for Synergy. Yeah. Give them momentum, so they just played it safe.
So Synergy weighed up the pros and cons of, I said I wanted Palm, but again, there is advantage to having seven-sided because you almost know that every strike is going to get out, and it's probably going to have good value against this many warriors. But I still would have rather Palm, unless they somehow find some crazy kills here or there.
Or connecting with that Benny. See, I'm on the other side of the camp here. With seven-sided strike, I think you're so into isolation that you need to get kills. And that is one of the ways you can do it.
That's what you're looking for. You're right.
Stormbolt, isolation, into orb, into seven-sided strike, and that gives you an immediate 5v4, which makes it much harder for Sergeant Hammer to be strong, and Synergy will take the strength of that kill and push in the bottom lane and look towards a boss.
Yeah, so that kill means that at least they got themselves a 13. Flying on down, they have control of this, they have Gust. Good momentum, and you're right, seven-sided strike did give them a lot of that. Probably would have died anyway, but I mean, regardless, because there was a little wall in front of Varian there. So that will be the boss, and they can even just waltz on down with one if they want down towards that bottom temple that's come out at just the right time. But Dahaka's doing Dahaka things. He's actually just playing a solo game right now. He's playing PvE.
I have 4 teammates? What is that?
Yeah, he doesn't care.
I mean the AI in the bottom lane? As the 4 of them will set up here, the Sergeant Hammer should be able to start defending this boss. Dahaka at some point will have to make a call, and he can do it as they are level 13. He could rotate to the bottom temple and force the rest of Synergy to rotate in. It's all about Sergeant Hammer not getting picked off here. Murden will be the enabler for this team. False can fly in at any point too here.
I like that Sevka's gone 6th Sense at level 13 because he realizes as a Kharazim you've got to be very, very deep into enemy lines there. That's going to be a taunt though on towards Muradin, and he's going to fall down. So now, that kind of removes one of the taunt targets that they want to go onto. They just don't want to target Sevka at all because he gains 75% extra armor, as now his blade is in isolation, been thrown down, but that Gust will be able to save the rest of them.
And Murden's like, where was that Gust earlier? Yeah. When I got focused down. Dahaka coming in for the rotation, trying to pop on top of Kharazim, but the Gust will save the day for Synergy. They did grab the bottom temple, a majority of them. Can they get all the shots? No, actually, as Blade will come in. Nice jump over the wall there. Good teamwork. Synergy holding on now.
Right, slowing pace down for a moment because neither team really wants to fight each other at this very moment in time. We'll have these hard camps being taken. And let's see where the timing out of some camps comes here for Expert. They'll take their easy camp towards the bottom. And I say timing out because they're just going to completely not take that one to the top just yet. They want to clear the way first with Falstad. Maybe have it push a little bit further. If they can time out the hard camp with a wave, that's perfect. And now they see everyone in the middle here, so they know Expert isn't timing out their camp just yet. But Hammer is on the way up there.
Blade playing near his teammates Dahaka here. Whenever the game comes down to a slight patient moment where there's no more action on the side of the map, play safe as Dahaka. You don't have to always be pushing. He's floating around the bottom here, waiting for Synergy to show where they are on the battleground.
So as much as they wanted to delay their hard camp being an option, Team Expert kind of still comes out on top, unless Falstad really puts a lot of pressure up there, but Dahaka could quite easily go and equalize that out if he wanted to. 16 and 16 is so close between these two teams right now. Oh, is Falstad there? No, he's not. Okay.
Dahaka's by himself on the right. I think he's sitting in a bush. The Ming and Kharazim did show to him.
Yeah, I mean, that 4 alone up there means that a lot of Synergy has to go up there and try and solve that puzzle, that problem. So Dahaka just sits down there, waits for a little bit, knows that they've all left. He's only just seen 2 of them in mid lane, and then he can easily just go and clean up that easy camp to the bot. And then Rush Stalker up.
Tower's coming for a play. He jumps in. The knockback immediately, though. ADRD will get hit by the Stormbolt, but is able to escape. Nice shield there. Beautiful cuts of glass. Neon flies in for a mighty gust, but because Expert handled that situation so well, They're able to walk away from the fight, and Dahaka clears bottom, and now they can get 16 and start the re-engage.
Yeah, just chill. There's, as soon as they've got 16 here, just now there is the potential. So Synergy has to position themselves very carefully because they only have one warrior, and any ranged members are going to be quite near these bushes down towards the bottom. So that's when Dahaka can pounce if they are not careful. Going on towards Bad Benny, Sulfura Smash misses.
This is the moment where Dahaka comes in. As Expert goes in for the engage. Here he is. He brush talks in. The expulsion zone out. Sefka's able to jump over. Power is stuck on the back right. They're looking for it. The drag comes out. Power low on health. Avatar is stated. We do have the Molten Core pop, though, from Ragnaros. The CCG from afar. We do have Falsa getting hit. The cleanse is going to be nice here from Sefka with that level 16 talent. Continuing with the aggression here from both teams. The poke is working out for both here. Kirsten keeping Nick alive and Blade. Blade going in. Bad Benny with the charge. Another cleanse comes out as Sefka continuing with these Radiant dashes.
Bad Benny was quite low there, so it had to just move away completely. The Disintegrate continued to do damage on towards him. Power of Dream here, getting charged on towards. Will they be able to follow that up with any more damage? Not really huge heroics for them to actually try and do that, as that's just going to be a poke war here, as Nick and ADRD chase them off, shoo them away, and Ice Cream looking for any shot that he could get, but that will be the last 5 shots going over towards Team Expert. So a very, very close, intense game here in game number 3.
Incredible cleansing touches there from Synergy. Expert had 2 or 3 kills set up, but Kerosene here bringing that cleanse in. There goes a taunt. Another cleanse popped up from Sefka.
Nice.
The poke wars continue between our two teams. Suddenly, Dahaka low on health. He's able to burrow though, tunnel away, dance around. Bad Benny looking for another engage, but Sefka just keeping an eye on him constantly.
They need a taunt and then Blunt Force Gun to try and blow someone up. That is what they're waiting for. 3 seconds is on the way. And now Blunt Force Gun is ready. Are they going to look for someone? They look on towards Falstad. He barrel rolls out of range of the Blunt Force Gun. It doesn't quite follow up. They look for Sulfura Smash on Dahaka at the back. It doesn't work because he burrows. And Bad Benny here is still alive. No one dies off that engage once again.
Incredible back and forth between our two teams. The BFG would have connected with Falstad, but again, that cleansing touch coming out, but they turned their targets towards Murden. He got low on health. Dahaka also lost out on the trades, and Sulfura Smash would have connected, but the burrow barely saving them. So much back and forth here as Synergy finally coming online to handle this Varian/BFG combo, all because of Kerosene's level 16. Now the boss being looked at. Explosion zone is available. Oh, big engage here. Power on the right side was setting up for a flank. Avatar comes out. Can Sefka save him? No, he cannot.
It's a disaster. Now that takes so much strength away from all of Synergy's comp. They could quite easily, if they want to go for boss, but they're looking for more. And then actually, Li Ming almost gets killed off. Now they just burn Expulsion Zone, so they can't go over to that boss at all. But there was always going to be that battle of the Gust versus the Expulsion, so they're just looking for more kills.
Oh, they're engaged. Sefka, neither one for focus there, but that level 13 talent coming in for him. Able to handle those out attacks coming his way. Power Dream will be spawning soon. Both keeps are up. All 3 keeps are up for both our teams. We're back at even footing here. The Expulsion Zone being used. Wow, Expert is going for it.
They know Gust's down. They know Gust's down and Expulsion's up in 10 seconds.
Poking it down, shields coming out, Bad Bee on the side, there's Mind on the left side in case Synergy goes for a play. They just cannot do it, don't want to throw the game here. Decide to go ahead and defend with Molten Core. Expert, will you push here? They're grabbing Giants too. I think you push. You don't have to go all in, but help out with the damage on the boss.
I think you can easily push here. They don't have graduating range, but at least they have Siege up. And also Taunt and Blunt Force Gun is off cooldown, and the wall is still up, so if they were to get an Expulsion Zone in front of that and try and zone them out whilst they were able to get big damage on towards the wall with Nick, then the boss could have more power on towards that key. But they're in position now.
We can bring in Blade here instead of bringing top lane for the clear. Falstad is on the right. There is a Mighty Gust available. ADRD, there we go. Big Gust coming out. Blade on the left side. Power goes in. We do have Sefka on the side here. Big taunt on Falstad on the right. He's able to get away there with a cleansing touch. Isolation does connect with Kerosene, so he's blinded slightly here. Varian looking for an engage. Does jump on Power. Can they get him?
They wanted to gust into the Molten Swing, but it wasn't successful as they didn't go far enough here. That's going to be the keep falling down. They've got so much power behind just protecting the hammer. Very difficult to actually get power. Jin jumps forward. He's going to get blown up. And Sefka now with Hydra on the retreat on out. Blade soaring forwards here with Dark Swarm. Does so much damage. And that's going to be Sefka under threat as well with Li Ming. Guy's cleansing touch gets on out with the second dash. Manages to stay alive, but the boss is on the core. And they're going to look for big damage here.
Three members here to defend for Synergy. Expert focusing it down. Nick is being protected. Bad Benny in the front line, holding down.
This.
The core is getting low on health. Yes, be careful. Neon low on HP at the same time.
Shield.
Nick does get the shield. 80% dropping down to 70 here. Explosion zone coming out. Bad Benny goes for the engage.
They're gonna get it.
They're gonna get on top of Sefka. He's low on health. The Gust does come out. The core is being focused down. Big hammering, connecting.
They can't stop Hammer. They can't stop Hammer here. They don't have Gust. They don't have any tools. That will be GG. Team Expert takes it 3-0 here. And that is a performance coming out from them. Very well done.
That it was. And I think it was a statement that they needed to make here. After the last couple of weeks, again, going against the top three, you start to have that doubt of, like, are we still a good team? The community even themselves are like, is Expert a good team? Do they cheese a little bit too much? But they come in here in week 5. And with the bottom 4 teams, they show that they still are very dominant. They just need to clear up a little bit in terms of standard play, and they can still compete.
Absolutely. They've shown that, I mean, against every single other team other than the big three, it was 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0.
Yeah.
So that really solidifies themselves as absolutely the 4th best in Europe right now. Going into phase 2, there is definitely some room to improve going up against the big three, but they have the chops to do it.
Yeah.
That's the great thing to see about them.
They still put themselves in the top 4. If we were to talk about the big top 4, Expert's always there at the bottom, right?
Yeah,
They're the demigods, if you will, to the gods here that are in the top 3. And they continue to show, and with it being a league format, they can keep growing as a team and continue dominating here. Synergy on the other side, gosh, they have so many moments where you can see the gloriousness behind that team and what they can do well, and if they could just power through, but still sitting at the 7th slot. Again, what we talked about with BGenius, this is more of an opportunity for them to learn. And it feels like they are learning. Every single week I see something a little bit new, a little bit different. They're willing to play against a variant taunt combo, and they bring out Karazim, so they have the cleansing touch at 16. Smart play there. They just have to wait to get to level 16 and be able to have that moment where they spark. So I'm just waiting for Synergy, man, to continue growing.
Yeah, definitely. If they stick together and continue to synergize, it has to be done. They can push themselves even just a little bit further. So Europe's just shaping up in a beautiful fashion.
Yeah,
I love commentating and watching this league.
Well, we're going to try and get on with Bad Benny. Bad Benny, thank you for joining us.
Hello.
Hey, Bad Benny, congratulations on your victory. A solid 3-0 against Synergy.
Yep.
How are you guys feeling in week 5?
It feels good. I mean, the last 2 weeks were a bit rough, but we just have to do our best and keep on playing our game.
Awesome. Good stuff to see. Of course, you guys had a rough road against the top 3, but it seems like you guys, when it comes to being 4th and all the teams below you, you just dominate so well. What do you think you guys have to do to start competing against the top 3?
I think we just have to be more consistent, basically. Like, there are some internal things we have to work on as a team that the other teams are doing better right now, but I think we are better than the top 3 at other points of the game. So we just have to, get our act more clean.
Bring it all together. Yeah. Awesome. Very cool.
I want to ask about the Stitches pick and Dragonshire towards the very end. What was the motive for you guys behind picking that into the composition that we saw from Synergy? Can you talk us through that process?
So they had Zarya Hammer. Like, against those picks already, it's pretty. They had Zarya Hammer, right? And it.
They had Hammer.
I need to find the draft pick.
Hammer, Muradin, ETC, Nazebo, and Brightwing.
Oh, it was not the Zarya game. Okay. So Hammer in general, Nazebo in general, very easy targets to hook, kind of, and very, like, if you hook them, you usually win the fight as well. And with Stitches, like, you can go both ults, and he's like good against everything they had, kind of. If I went Bile, I'm good against the tanks. If I went Gorge, we got like a win condition all game by just getting Gorge over and over.
Cool.
So, yeah.
I want to talk to you about the meta that's starting to evolve because of you guys. It seems like Zul and Nazebo, man, we are seeing it everywhere now. How do you guys feel about creating this new composition that seems to be everywhere?
I mean, ADR is always saying that, they're stealing our strats now again. And that's usually true in a lot of cases, actually. But, I mean, of course it's good for the scene that other teams are picking up on the good things as well.
So when is the ADRD Murky composition coming together?
No, please.
Next patch.
Okay.
We're already practicing it. It's happening.
I am so excited for that. Awesome. Well, Bad Benny, congratulations to your team. You guys have been doing it so well. Continue to be up here in the top 4 in the HGC standings. And again, if you have any shout-outs, please let us know.
Yeah, of course, Team Expert, my teammates, and to Synergy as well for putting up a good fight.
Awesome.
That's all.
Cool. Congratulations, man. Again, to Team Expert as they earn a 3-0 victory over Synergy. Well done by them. This was the team when we first started in week 1. You were just like, Expert, I am on this ship, and I will watch them as they continue to sail.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of people know that I fly the Dignitas flag high because I have my Brits there, but definitely Expert for me is another team that I think that we like to root for an underdog in Britain, right? We like to, one, it's normally us because Britain's rubbish. But also, two, we like to root for people that might be able to, get into those top spots and whatever. And Expert's definitely one of those teams. So it's going to be very exciting in Phase 2 onwards to see if they can clinch one of those spots.
Before we even move into Phase 2, though, Katowice is coming up in a couple of weeks, March 3rd to the 5th. Guys at home, be ready for it at 1 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, also 10 a.m. CET. You guys will be able to watch all those games come out. Now, of course, let's check out the stats of the teams that will be fighting there. As a reminder, these are the top 5 time deads for the Hero Global Championship. Faye, Snitch, Jude, Michael Udall, and Caterpillar here. So lots of information, things to watch out for as we head into Katowice. Lots of stats to think about, and of course, break those stats. I remember earlier we saw the KDAs. I know Michael Udall has already stated that he's going to take over the spot over Snitch on Twitter, but Snitch obviously is going to have a different opinion about that.
And then we heard Cracknix yesterday, I think, saying he's going to destroy Udall.
Yeah. We're going to see like 5 global comps where they just dive Udall constantly, lose the game, but kill his KDA.
At least we got him.
At least we got him there. So that's going to be it here for HGC Europe. Before we go, obviously, a sad moment here in HGC Europe. Caleres, this is your last day, your last week. You've been here for the last 5 weeks, and you have been an absolute rock star. I know from myself and, of course, everyone here at HGC, thank you so much for coming out and helping us with Europe. You've dominated so much. And as a friend, dude, you've just been such a great person. So thank you a lot.
Thank you very much. Just as, I guess, a fond farewell from me, it's been a privilege to be part of HGC. It's something that I didn't actually expect to do too much of in 2017. And now, this is a game I absolutely love. I've covered a lot of games in my history in esports, but this is a game that I have the most passion for because it is one of the best games ever made in my mind. It brings together every love I have